Hey guys, it's Josh and welcome back to CrossZone. So we're starting a new segment at CrossZone today, and it's going to be called Sports News. At least once or twice a week, I will be posting news and talking about news that's just going on around the sports world. A lot of times this will be about football, but sometimes this will be about baseball or basketball too. And with that, I want to get right into it. Now, I know that I'm a little bit late to this party, but as a New Orleans Saints fan, this is huge news. The Saints have hired Brandon Staley, the ex-Chargers head coach Brandon Staley, as their defensive coordinator. And this is a good hire. This is a good hire. The Saints, as everybody knows, if you're keeping up with football at all, you know that the Saints are in total rebuild mode. And the Saints are not going to have much of an offense next year, just like they didn't have much of an offense this past year. And they're going to need a really good defense to at least keep things interesting. You know what I'm saying? And Brandon Staley is somebody who could make that happen. Now, a lot of people are questioning Staley's ability to do so, and I understand why. Staley, as a defensive coordinator, did a great job with the Rams, but the Rams were a very stacked team at that time. Staley has not yet proven that he can coach a good defense on a team that is not stacked. That's a good point, and that's a fair point, and it's a true point. However, in my personal opinion, Staley has done enough to show that he deserves the opportunity to show that he can. You see what I'm saying? Regardless of the stacked team the Rams had, Staley did come up with a lot of packages and schemes and plans that were really very good. Very good. I understand he had great personnel, but he also he's very unique in the way he designs his defenses and his plays. You know, people like to call him a 3-4 guy, and he's certainly where his bread and butter is certainly the 3-4. There's no question about that. But he by no means sticks to the 3-4. He by no means runs defenses that are necessarily revolved around the 3-4. He can go 3-4 on one play, 4-3 on the next play. Load the box the next play. I mean, he's a guy that will just do whatever he can on a certain play to make sure that play works the way it's supposed to. So I think this is a good hire. Now, my disappointment comes with the fact that we did not hire Matt Eberflus as our defensive coordinator. And the reason I say that is because when Dennis Allen left, Dennis Allen has been a top 5 defensive coordinator, top 5 DC in the NFL for about 10 years. And I felt like Matt Eberflus was the only guy who could come in and even really be close to Dennis Allen's level. You know what I'm saying? And Eberflus was out there for a very long time, and the Saints just simply did not snatch him up. I was very disappointed to hear that he had gone to the Cowboys. And it's good news for the Cowboys. He's going to have that defense rolling. But with the Saints, I thought that Matt Eberflus was our only chance at hiring a defensive coordinator that's on Dennis Allen's level. Now, of course, speaking of Matt Eberflus, look where Dennis Allen ended up. He ended up in Chicago, which is also, I'm going to make another video about that. Dennis Allen, I'm really surprised he ended up in Chicago. I did not think he would take the Chicago job for reasons I will get into in another video. But back to Brandon Staley. Is he as good as Dennis Allen? No. At least not at this point in time. Does he deserve to be cut some slack for the first couple of years? Yeah. I don't really know how I feel about Staley as DC. I think he's a good hire. I think he'll do well. I think he'll make the most out of what he has to work with. But it's one of these things only time will tell. And in our roster, as a Saints fan, our roster is so bad right now that there's not going to be a whole lot he can do, at least in his first year of his time as a DC. Now, he hasn't spoken to the media yet, as far as I know. So it'll be interesting when he finally does speak to the media and does that sort of first media interview as a Saints head coach or as a Saints coach. But Brandon Staley, I'm proud of this hire. I would have rather had Matt Eberflus, but I'm proud of this hire. We also hired Bo Davis out of LSU. And I think that could be, that's another situation like Brandon Staley. Bo Davis hasn't necessarily proven that he can coach defensive lines at the NFL level, but he's done enough to prove that he deserves the chance to prove himself in that matter. So, Kellen Moore is making a lot of really good hires. And even if Kellen Moore doesn't turn out to be a great coach, I think the Saints will still be successful in the long run just because Kellen Moore is showing a great instinct he has the right instincts to know what kind of staff to put around himself. And there's some coaches who are like that. Some coaches are winners because they themselves are good coaches. Other coaches win games and go to Super Bowls, not because their particular coaching is so great, but because they know how to pick great coaches to be on their staff. And Kellen Moore, it seems like he knows what he's doing in picking a coaching staff. I mean, these are all basically home run hires, or at least infield triple hires. You see what I'm saying? He's really doing a good job of putting together his coaching staff. But yeah, Brandon Staley has signed with the New Orleans Saints and will be their defensive coordinator for who knows how long, but probably a good 4 or 5 years, I would imagine. And good hire. That's what I got for you guys.